Alright boys, welcome back to another video, and today the devs have shared some more information. Alright, so before we start, like always, first link down below, all up-to-date news, guides, and all of that for Bannerlord. Check it out. But let's get right into it. So obviously, something that that's always talked about in the forums is not enough information, not enough information, not enough information. Well, I guess the devs decided to make a post pretty much talking about, you know, single player and what they have in stores. Obviously, single player is played by the majority of players. Last time the devs kind of like showed us a percentage was it wasn't even a couple months ago, it was probably like 6 7 months ago, where they said it's something like 95% play single player. It is what it is. Obviously, single player is a very good mode. It's like it's the go-to in my opinion, right? But I think multiplayer is still pretty good in my opinion, but it's just pretty dead right now. But let's go check it out. They said a lot here. As you can see, it's a pretty big post. And hopefully this gives people the information they need, and also calms a lot of people down as well. But it's probably not going to, but we'll see. So I'm going to read through this. I'm going to give my little feedback on it. I'll probably make a part 2 because I know there's a lot of dev responses as well. But this one is pretty long. So yeah, let's do it. Alright, so he starts out by saying, Warriors of Calradia, it is time to share another update on some of our current single-player related works with you. Stability and performance will continue to be the top priority for us, okay? Beyond that, you will find a number of other efforts listed below. Please note this includes both broad and specific, as well as shorter and long-term items. Okay, so what this means is some of these things will come sooner, some of these things will come later. Some of these things might be subject to change because they're spoken very broad, and stuff that's spoken very broad means it's spoken very simply, and obviously stuff can change in that way. All right, let's do it. So first, near hearth and home. Okay, so cutscenes or scene notifications were first teased in our future plans post. Since then, we have created a number of these animations for different story and world events to add more weight to them. So what he's talking about is pretty much, whenever you choose to execute a clan leader, right? And you have like that little, where he's just standing there and you have the axe and all that. That's what they consider a cutscene. So what they teased on the future post were cutscenes for weddings, for funerals, maybe like whenever a war starts. That wasn't shown whenever a war starts, but I'm just trying to think of what else they could possibly make it for. But they did show one for a funeral, and they did state one is coming for a wedding. So he continues, they presented a multidisciplinary challenge to design UI, art, and animation, engine, campaign, gameplay, audio, and QA. We were quite happy with how they turned out so far. Good. I think those are pretty good. I think everybody likes the one where where he has the axe and it goes down and then you hear the noise. So I think more of those is a good thing. Alright, scenes. Over the course of development, our focus shifted away from the smaller locations and more towards ensuring greater variety and quality in core gameplay areas. As such, we have been working hard on creating remaining town scenes, which will offer new siege challenges as well as additional battle terrains to cover further regions of interest. Naturally, we will continue to improve our existing scenes. As it concerns a particularly large body of work, it won't drop all at once, but there will be continuous updates. Okay, so scenes, he's talking about like whenever you let's say visit a town. I'm pretty sure there's still some towns that are kind of similar to other ones, so I'm guessing they're going to change those around. Obviously, scenes on the world map, whenever you start a battle, the battle terrain system, it's not fully done. Like they said, it's still a work in progress, and more scenes are going to be added, and they're pretty much telling you the same thing here. Next, sieges. Sieges represent one of the most complex gameplay experiences, and we continue to polish the many pieces that make up the puzzle. To give a recent example, we overhauled the way that both AI attackers and defenders use troop transfers between formations in sieges. This was done to reduce transfers at inconvenient times, in quick succession, or with poor overall oversight, which could lead to large numbers of soldiers being transferred from opposite sites unnecessarily. Alright, so just better AI in sieges. Good to hear. Battles. While combat is certainly one of the game's strongest points, there are things to be improved upon, and one of them is the way in which reinforcements enter the battlefield. Ooh. Specifically, we have been working on means to prevent cases of spawn camping and troops suddenly appearing in the middle of an active fight. Okay. So obviously, what players always talked about is how about we make them respawn outside the map and then they run inside the map. But I think what they're gonna do is maybe they're gonna have maybe 3 different spawn locations, and they're probably gonna spawn new reinforcements wherever there's the least amount of enemy troops. That can also be a nice fix to it as well. So if they just don't spawn on top of you, that's the main I think issue most players had. Next, armor effectiveness. This has been a topic of passionate discussion. We are happy to let you know that we are closing on the releasing an adjustment aimed to making armor more effective. They will not adopt the warband system, but it will go towards stronger protection. Cool. So armor is going to play a bigger role. Obviously now, well, currently, if you play like on the hardest difficulty, it doesn't really matter what armor you have. You'll still take severe damage regardless of what you do. It's kind of like same as if you were playing for example well, I guess Elden Ring's kind of like the most popular game of that genre of like really hard to play games, but it's kind of that similar concept where it's regardless of what armor you have, you're probably gonna get 1, 2, or 3 tapped. But I guess this will help out so that doesn't happen. Next, main hero battle death. Given all the extra armor, it may be time to raise the stakes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That'd be hard. Yeah. And spoiler, yes, it's optional. Yeah, you probably choose it in the beginning if you want to actually do it. But yes, that's a great idea. That'll make marriage and having an heir very very like a lot more important in the game. You'll have to prepare for that, and you'll have to be extra careful. And yeah, I think it's great. All right, combat mechanic improvements. We've gone over the combat mechanics for knockdown, dismounting, and pushback, and removed the random factor to allow a more reliable and predictable experience for players. Okay. Among other things, we also introduced a new resistance variable that is derived from character skills. This allows us to make some troops and heroes less vulnerable to these mechanics and will allow players to develop their characters to become less vulnerable as well. Okay, so stronger you are, the more you can, not get knocked down and certain things of that nature, right? Makes sense. Army AI improvements. In recent months, we spent quite a bit of time reviewing, adjusting, and testing the Army AI. In essence, we set to address the following items: less patrolling, more sieging; less starving, more sieging; less recruiting, more sieging. So a lot more sieging. Better cohesion management, more sieging. Other trickery at the same end. We also don't like peacetime armies. Okay, so all this makes sense. Obviously, peacetime armies don't make really much sense at all. Pretty much what it means by that is whenever you're not at war with anybody, there's just armies roaming around. It's a waste of resources. It makes more armies starve and all the other stuff, right? And it messes up the economy. And then, obviously, them implying more sieging 4 times is because the AI doesn't really siege, and when they do, it usually takes like 34 attempts for them to take one castle that they should easily be able to take the first try. It's just, very slow, and hopefully it does get better. Party templates. The idea of parties that reflect their leaders' preferences has gone through some iterations since we originally shared it. Nonetheless, we intend to pursue the approach that weighs recruitment and upgrading according to their preference. The initial releasable implementation is close to completion, and we hope to soon evaluate it further based on player feedback. Okay, I'll be honest with you, I've never really used the player templates. In my opinion, it kind of didn't really make too much sense for me. I don't really have to use it, but if it does play a bigger role and does that, we are going to check it out and see what it's all about. Okay? Next, disorganized states. We have gone over the condition and effects of the disorganized state, which temporarily weakens parties and armies after a recent challenge, to make it more meaningful and consistent. Okay, cool. So bigger effects are going to happen to your army. For example, if you just lose a lot of battles and stuff of that nature. I think that's cool. I think it makes sense. If you're going downhill, obviously, there should be more. What do you call it? Not effects, but kind of like can't find the word for it. Like bad things that happen, if that kind of makes sense. Yeah, I can't find the word for it. But all right, moving on. Item variety. What's a warrior without their weapon? In the effort to increase the general variety of weapon, we have been working on a number of new crafting pieces as well as making some existing pieces available across additional weapon types. You hear that, all you smithing guys out there? You guys, hey, listen. Once this comes out, I already know I'm gonna see 14 different videos on. Oh my God, new exploit found. New best thing to craft to make 55K first 3 days of in-game time. You know what I mean? I already know it's coming. Hey, get ready for that. Next, we have crafting unlock overhaul. With this broader pool of crafting pieces, we also had another look at how crafting works. We don't really like that all the crafting pieces are unlocked from the same source. Instead, we want to provide more sense of specialization. Thus, future smiths will, for example, need to craft axes to unlock axe pieces. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. So what he's talking about here is before you can literally just spam craft like the easiest thing to craft. Let's say, for example, if that's I haven't been crafting for a long time, but when I did the whole crafting thing, I was crafting daggers, and if you craft 100 daggers, you're gonna get what do you call it? You're gonna unlock crafting pieces for every other weapon, whether it's one-handed, whether it's pole arms, all that stuff, just by crafting daggers. What he's saying here is now, if you want to unlock, for example, crafting pieces for axes, you have to actually craft axes. If you want to unlock crafting pieces for one-handed swords, you have to actually craft one-handed swords. Yeah, that makes sense. I think that's what it should have been. Simulation health economy. While this has been a point of importance to us, we set out to review and address two issues in particular in recent months. For one, some items were too profitable in general, while others didn't make enough regional price distinction. This made trade much less engaging, and we would like than we would like it to be. All right, baby, trading is coming back. Similarly, due to the same market dynamics, workshops were suffering as well. If you bought the right one, there were little reason to engage with it again, and more often than the right one came down to the same small set of options. The changes we made to supply and demand have been promising results so far. Good. So we're going to see bigger price differentiation. Again, trading can become a big thing. Obviously, right now, pretty sure like the best things to trade now is horses, right? If I'm not mistaken, and a couple of other things, but everything else doesn't really make sense to trade because like the dev said, the prices are way too close to each other, and it's not very profitable, and in turn that makes workshops also not as profitable. So the changes could be pretty good and could open up a new set of things to do. Next, recruit balance. Claranians have seemingly always been happy to join a good fight. However, recruits are not just plentiful, but oftentimes overly powerful. This has been raised in the community before, and we also recognize it as an issue, and we have made according adjustments to the way notables develop their troops. Uh-oh. Like I said, I always gave a tip out there to people whenever I made guides that if you want the strongest troops, you need to go to where the AI does not recruit. Whether it's all the way at the ends of the map, or if it's certain places that the AI just doesn't visit. AI lords, for example, those will usually have literally tier 4 troops just to start, and you can buy them right away. I'm guessing that's going to go away soon, so RIP. Alrighty, AI prison management. It is not just recruits that are plentiful, but also prisoners. So much that the Canadian dungeons would overflow as time passed. We've been looking into a solution for this and will likely share it with you soon. Okay, more prison breaks, maybe. Maybe AI formed prison breaks. That'd be pretty cool. Child generation. So that's the way to say it. He states, despite our previous adjustments to the adult population, there is still a problem with initial generational gap. To address this, we will likely generate additional children with different ages at the start of the game for any clans that fall under a given member limit. As an extra, this should make such clans more viable. Okay, so what he's saying is right now the game kind of starts, everyone's kind of like an adult, and then children, they are birthed over time by those adults. What they're saying here is whenever the game starts, now there's gonna be children already in the game, in those clans. So it's kind of like it doesn't have that same gap, which makes sense. Alrighty, moving on. Let me take a drink real quick because Jesus Christ, this is a long post. Oh, excuse me. Alright. Character respecking. Okay, with the multitude of perks that the game offers, it can be difficult to find the character setup that is just right for you. Fortunately, it will soon no longer be required to wait for your heir to take over or start a new game to try out another character build. Instead, you'll be able to change the perks of your character and clan members as you play. Cool. Maybe you should make that an option too in the beginning of the game, or there should be maybe like 3 options. Maybe like no character respecking, to get like that immersive gameplay or whatever. Second one should be like characters can respec once every 10 years of their life or something like that. And the third one should be unlimited respecking. I think that would be a way where everyone's happy with how it works, in my opinion. Next, skill experience gains. Character development is an important aspect of the game that follows the principle of learning by doing. While this generally works, we feel that some skills don't yet offer an adequate progression. Fortunately, the aforementioned economy changes should help with trade. Additionally, we have been working on more tailored adjustments for all combat skills, leadership, roguery, and engineering. We look forward for your feedback on this. Okay, so they're pretty much making it easier to level because obviously some things are very hard to level, and that's what they're going to tackle. Next, immersion and quality of life. All right. There are many adjustments that relate to this category in some way. Below, you'll find a few of the ones we thought interesting. Okay, so there's more, but this is just the ones I thought was interesting to share. Additional AI offers. We were quite happy with the reception and impact of AI ransom and peace offers for the player. So what these are is whenever you're just going through the map, if you have people that are that are your prisoners, you will usually receive messages like, hey, do you want to ransom this person? And, you'll get money back for them. Like I've stated, and like the whole community stated that, give us a lot more of these. They're very good, you know what I mean? So why not? Sorry, I got a text. Okay. But now they're saying these new notifications make the world feel more alive and want to build upon them. For this purpose, we are exploring marriage, mercenary, and vassalage offers. Let's go. Let's go. This is yes. Like I've stated from the start, to make a game feel more alive, you need the AI to interact with the player, not to the same amount that the player interacts with the AI, but you need them to always interact back, because it makes the game feel like, oh wow, like like you're in the game and you're also being acknowledged for being in the game. You're not just like this character that just roams around like, you know what I mean, like he's just like his own thing and no one talks to him and all that stuff. This is beautiful. Yes, and this will help with, obviously, mercenary clans will come up to you and be like, hey, we need someone, you pay us this much, we become your mercenary. This will change how the speed of the game at times. This will increase your luck. Let's say you're down and you need some extra troops and all of a sudden someone comes to your aid like this. This is beautiful. Yes, this is huge. This right here, even though it's just like a little small paragraph and all this right here is huge. Next, encyclopedia information. The all-knowing encyclopedia is not just a challenge to immersion, but also inconsistent with our scouting mechanics. To address this, we are working on a similar limitations to the encyclopedia that create a form of fog of war for those that are outside the reach of the player and their agents. I think there should also be an option. I like the encyclopedia knowing everything. I know it's a little bit kind of cheating in a way, but it's a single player game. I don't know. I think it should be optional. This fog of war, I think it should be optional in my opinion. Next, party management options. Clan members can and at times be a hassle to track down and manage. To address this, we have been exploring a new option to send, recall, and exchange them. Let's go. Again, very good change. Very good. Obviously, you don't want to always let's say for example you're the ruler of a clan. I mean you're the ruler of a kingdom. You shouldn't have to be running down on your horse to get everybody together. It should be something that you could send a scout out or something like that, or send a message out and they come back. You know what I mean? It only makes sense. Great. Civilian scenes. Our towns and castles have a range of NPC characters that can partake in numerous activities to give the location life. However, castles in particular seem a bit underpopulated. This should be improved in future versions of the game as we increase the population and use the animation points and the number of settlements. Hey, if you guys never walked through like a town before in Bannerlord or whatever, go through one. I think it's actually pretty entertaining. You have like your little dancing corner where there's like there's dancers. You got all the merchants. You got certain characters running around. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing. Obviously, I wish you could interact more, in my opinion, but it's still pretty cool. Next, world map and associated visuals. Much like scenes the world map can make or break immersion, we therefore decided to allocate some of the time towards resolving issues with party teleporting, floating, and rotating among a number of other tweaks. Of course, we also continue to polish the actual map. Cool. Audio. Dun, dun, dun. Excuse me. Improved UA sounds. We added new sounds all around the UI and revised some existing ones for coherence. To provide an example, you will now be able to hear the audio feedback when a persuasion attempt goes eerie or pleasant. Okay, so if you pass or fail it, there's going to be a little sound that goes with it. You know what I mean? Cool. Horse sound revisions is a constant request. We've been working. Oh my goodness. Excuse me. Hold on. Let me mute my mic real quick. Jesus, I was doing a lot of talking. I had to let a cough out real quick. As a constant request, we've been working on improving the audibility of approaching horses and fix some bugs of the occlusion system that prevented some sounds from being played. Okay, this is ongoing work, and more improvements will arrive as time passes. More horse sounds, you love to hear it. We improved horse physics sounds to make it more impactful when they die. Jesus, all right. Ambient upgrades. Quad ambience were another topic in our future posts. They are a great means to make scenes more believable, and our work on them is ongoing. A few of the ambients have been updated to quads, and we fixed some crucial specialization bugs while we were at it. Alright, some better ambient sounds. I don't know what quads is, but for sure, I like it. Localization. Okay, so this is like the different languages and stuff. Always great to see, as they say right here. Our efforts always continue. Even though we have now released translations for simplified Chinese, traditional Chinese, Turkish, French, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Polish, Brazilian Portuguese, Spanish, Latin American, and Russian, that does not mean that we are at the end of our journey. We greatly appreciate all the feedback we received in the front and working with our partners to process it. We're also happy to say that German is close to being shared as well. Great. The more, the better. It brings more people together. More people can play the game. Sensation. A ways ahead. Alrighty. As the attentive reader will surely have noticed, there are some topics that we haven't covered yet. In our future plans, we spoke on banner barriers, claimant quests, sallyouts, and vocalization. These are all areas that we are still pursuing, but they will still require some time. Okay. Once we have made more progress on them and other topics, we will be happy to share further details. Please keep in mind that the items discussed here are neither all-encompassing nor set in stone, and we will adjust them if the need arises. Alrighty. Cool, and these are the other ones that they've made statements from beforehand as well. Cool. Great. This is there you go. I already know that by page 4 I'm gonna have some guys saying, guys, devs, they never communicate. I already know that's coming, but yeah, good to see. I think all this is good. I don't think any of this is technically bad. These right here, I think, are the biggest things. This offers of marriage, mercenary and vassalage are insane, and this right here to be able to send, recall, and exchange clan members, huge. But everything else also very good. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you in the next one.